They believe that freedom is licensed to do whatever you want. That's why they're, quote, non-judgmental. They made a judgment when they made themselves non-judgmental. They believe in no holds barred. They don't like the three dreaded words in the English language, which we got from our Jewish friends, thou shalt not. They don't want to be told anything, which is why they die prematurely. They're unhappy. That's why we have a disproportionate number of agnostics and atheists in the asylum. All of this is true. Now, look, they've got some serious problems. I'm talking here about the militants. I'm not talking about your average atheist or agnostic.
Right.
They're not more of a threat than a lame Catholic is. But I am talking about the organized group. It's only a small percentage of them, but every year they have to try to do something to stick it to us. And like American atheists, when do they have their annual convention every year? On Good Friday.
And you say,
see, it's all directly, it's all the middle finger in the face of Christians.
I am awful and dirty and terrible, and I have these urges.
It's like going to a strip club with 6-year-olds.
I thought kind of all four of us were kind of assholes. That was the whole point of the show.
'Tis the season, bitches.
Welcome to Atheist Airwaves, your no-filter look at current news and events facing atheists and the atheist community. I'm Christian Ferris.
I'm Pity Alfaro.
I'm Rib Spence.
And I'm Susan Tarpin. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for Atheist Airwaves. We record live every Tuesday at 7:30 Central, so if you're listening via podcast, we encourage you to join us in the Ustream chat room and participate in the show.
I'm sick and Jay's working.
Yay!
Wait,
Good
which one are we
times.
cheering for?
No Jay. Yay!
Suck it, chat room. Our intro audio this week is Bill Donahue, president of the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights, saying a lot of butthurt bullshit about atheists. There's a lot to unpack in that 50-second clip, but I wanted to take the first swing at this douche pilot if I could.
Have at it.
And then while I'm regaining my composure, someone else can take a turn.
Cool.
The statement that made me most angry with him was saying that atheists die prematurely, they are more unhappy, there are a disproportionate number of atheists and agnostics in the asylum. And who says asylum anymore?
Seriously.
Is that a word we use now?
That's an American Horror Story season, not a word we still use.
Yeah.
It was asylum, not a
I don't think that's a
word?
thing.
Like
No.
Batman, you know, when they talk about like the Harlequin and
Arkham
you know,
Asylum.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I think it went out with that.
cartoony.
So what do you?
Yeah.
What's
It's very
the
cartoony.
proper
Psych
modern
hospital.
term? Just hospital.
Psychiatric word.
Psychiatric
yeah.
facility, something to that extent.
Something non-stigmatized probably because...
Well, don't
you know.
people like seek asylum and?
Yeah, but that's a different...
That's a different, yeah.
That's a different word.
Well, I mean, I
Different
know it's a
usage.
different, yeah, but okay.
Anyway, before I tear into him on those statements, though, I wanted to first point out to him that if we're going to throw studies at each other, the first one I'm going to bring up is atheists are smarter than you and your little bunch of
Catholics.
trolly Catholics, right? I mean, that would be the first thing. And that is directly related to the fact that both groups of people approached the idea of whether there's a God or not. And our group looked at it and said, nope, because we're just a little smarter than you statistically as a group. Now that there aren't dumb atheists, but statistically as a group, if we're going to be throwing these stupid surveys at each other, that's the first thing I'm going to say. Meanwhile, your group of people approached that and said, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
This totally makes sense, guys.
Right? So then the next thing that I would say is, yes, you can find studies that show that atheists, by and large, are not as happy as religious people. They have more health problems. They have more psychiatric issues. But you can say that about any stigmatized minority in our culture. I mean, that's not due to not believing in God. That's due to...
Most of the studies I had looked at, they were more, they're only showing correlation. They weren't really showing causation.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're bullied because you are the outcast, you are the one that doesn't go with what everybody else thinks, of course it's going to affect you emotionally and be like, well, I guess I'll just sit over here and not say what I
Right.
feel or
Exactly.
be who I am.
And you're not supported in the same way that people who are in the majority group are.
You don't have that community.
And it's not just atheists. I mean, there are studies that show these same things for African Americans, for
homosexuals, yes.
homosexuals, transgender people. It's about being a stigmatized minority, which is what the hell he's doing right here. So it's not because we don't believe in your silly little God. Bill Donahue can't even see $1 billboard that disagrees with his life stance without crying like a fucking baby. He would not last a minute as an atheist, as a person of color, as a gay person. Not a freaking minute. Who else wants to swing at some of this stuff?
Well, I mean, it's one of those, you see it in black communities where underprivileged and they don't have access to the resources that other people do. So that causes them to have lower health and by virtue also probably lower mental health as well.
Sure.
And with that, it's not because their skin is black that causes them to be depressed. It's because everyone around them is just being an asshole.
Yeah. Well,
So
precisely.
So that's what my problem is. I'm not depressed. Everybody's just an asshole.
No, you're fucked up.
Well,
I knew it.
You're defective. However,
well, see, how does he even quantify the happiness? Just because, I'm getting to do whatever I want to do because I'm not worried about somebody judging me because it doesn't matter to me. And, I don't go every Sunday to go get a cookie because, I've been good all week
they
long.
have cookies now?
Well,
They have lemonade and all kinds of shit now.
They go and they bring them all in. So it's like, oh, you've been doing so good, so that makes them happy. They think that they are following all the rules.
And
These rules they've made up.
And as far as biological health goes, if you're part of a church and you go and you're around people all the time, you're going to be exposed to germs and all kinds of other things.
And
That's going to
faith healing.
boost your this is going to boost your immune system that'll allow you to fight diseases better, which unfortunately in the atheist community, we don't generally have that kind of community that we go and spend time with, in our extracurricular time. So that will, just from a biological standpoint, I guess you could say potentially atheists could have a weaker immune system because they don't go to a huge building full of children and kids every, Sunday and Wednesday and
Germ
Monday afternoon
factories.
or whatever.
Although we are eating children, so you're getting the microbes that way. Although I guess they burn off, if you barbecue them right.
We're all really.
So speaking of assholes, our chat room, this is really interesting because I laughed, but then I thought, oh man, I'm kind of being Bill Donahue right now. Jacob Gossip 5 notes that men with micro penises are another group that are stigmatized, and here we are laughing at them and depressing their immune
We should
systems.
also be pointing while we're laughing. That's what you got to do.
That's where it really lies. Is the
No, but that's a
pointing.
serious issue. I don't know.
Only if you got one.
Womp womp.
Which fortunately is very rare.
I don't know what the statistics on that are.
I actually, okay, so
It's a topic that interests me.
I read an article the other way.
It's good to know a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah, no, there actually was an article a couple of weeks ago about men with micropenises, and apparently it's exceedingly rare. And they were just talking about what we're talking about right now, which is, how do you deal with that? Are you, embarrassed? Are you? And yes, they are. And it does, make life hard. And it,
Well, not really, I guess.
and then there's all these atheist podcasts always making fun of you. And
Those assholes.
so the other thing that kind of bugs the crap out of me that he said was, he said, I'm not talking about your average atheist or agnostic. I'm talking about the organized people like American atheists. Though this is also like a really, really clever thing that he did. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit for being intelligent, but what it seemed like to me is, and I know atheists who will bite on this also and say, yeah, man, it's these people who just don't leave them alone. This is, him basically saying, be one of the good ones, be one of the good atheists who's going to sit in the corner
And shut up.
and shut the hell up and just do what we say and take what we give you. And then,
What I didn't realize was American Atheist, right? Mm-hmm. Is that like a super duper militant atheist
Yes.
organization? Or, okay. I don't know enough about them. So.
Is this your first podcast?
How new are you to atheism?
Well, I know they go and spread information. I don't know how much they're killing people in the name of atheism. Or
they're
anything,
killing a lot of people like every day, blowing things up. And no, what I mean, okay,
Mostly babies.
Well, they're not.
They're soft targets.
They're not trying to stop people from practicing religion in their
No.
churches.
But no atheists are really doing that.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know, a militant one who's anti-religious, tear down the churches. Like that's what I would assume would be a militant.
well, this
atheist.
is go ahead.
Well, they're taking, but we're just putting it on the government property. It's no big deal. It belongs to all of us. atheists are like, well, no, because I don't like it too. And so that's militant. It's too much. Because
Right. They're misusing the label militant, basically, because exactly what you're saying is if you talk about a militant Christian, you're talking about someone who's going around blowing the heads off abortion doctors. If you talk about a militant Muslim, you're talking about people who are flying planes into buildings and stabbing people. If you talk about militant Hindus, you're talking about people setting people on fire, beating people in the streets, killing skeptics by shooting them in the back of the head. If you're talking about a militant atheist, you're talking about someone who puts up a sign.
Somebody who openly disagrees
Right.
with your bullshit.
he gets angry and he says something.
Yeah, he doesn't sit in the corner and do what Bill Donahue tells him and or her, and that's what a militant atheist is. Which is why although I use the word, I don't like to use that word to describe atheists because it does not follow. And people, it's kind of even an equivocation fallacy because they're trying to leave you with the impression that we really hate militant Muslims who blow people up, and that's why we should really hate militant atheists too because they're just the same.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
You can't lump them in the same category in the slightest bit.
I mean, if there was a militant atheist who was burning down churches, I'd be like, hey, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening. I think he doesn't like outspoken atheists.
Yes, and that's what he should say. As far as I can tell, the biggest thing, there are atheists once in a while who I'll hear about defacing something or vandalizing something. But that's really far in.
And I think that's less because they're atheists and more because they're just assholes.
Or because they're 16.
That
or they're Chapo. Inside joke.
them's fighting words.
Good thing he doesn't listen to our show. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
You can deal with it.
Anyway, that really struck me as an attempt by him to try and tear down our organizing. And, meanwhile, he's the same person. He's Bill Donahue of the Catholic League. And
Puts up just as many billboards, if not more, I'm sure.
Exactly. And so he's just trying to declaw atheism and make us an easier target. And like I said, I know atheists who will fall for that crap, and it drives me crazy. Does anyone else have anything else they want to say about that?
No, he did offer free counseling sessions for atheists, which, I don't know, I'd take him up on it. Sure, why not?
I would maybe go in there just for grins, but
counseling sessions are very healthy, and I think people discount how good they can be.
But
free.
maybe not from the Catholic League.
Right.
I think that might.
Oh, is it his?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm saying it might be more like programming or a re-education
I thought it was
center.
a counselor of my choosing.
Just send the funds over here. We'll put them to proper use.
You know what? There's a couple of things that I think we're going to have to do in terms of following up for next week. I'm going to send the Catholic League a letter. I'm writing myself a note here. And ask them if they will pay for a counseling session for you from the counselor of your choice.
Sounds good.
And see if they respond. Let's move on to some news. And because I don't want to talk about Christians anymore, let's start with Islam.
This is some international news.
Sure.
So, in the United Arab Emirates, a woman has
Hold on.
confessed. What?
Hold on just a second. Because
Why does this always happen?
I know, I'm a big asshole.
Give up.
So I just have to apologize to the Ustream and the YouTube people because I have to take like a blowing my nose break because I'm sick. Hold on. The podcast people and the chat room. I apologize to the chat room too. Jesus. I was just trying to catch up on the chat room real quick.
I don't think there is any catching up with the chat room.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're
all
off
just
on their own
ratted
tangent.
animals.
When they start, they can't be stopped.
Pretty much.
What's a defella?
What?
Definition.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
I was like, that's one hell of a typo there.
Okay, go. I'm sorry, Susan.
In the United Arab Emirates, a woman has confessed to stabbing an American teacher in Abu Dhabi and leaving a makeshift bomb at the home of an unrelated Arab-American doctor. Ubalia Ryan, who is a former Colorado teacher, was in Abu Dhabi with her twin sons teaching. She was a kindergarten teacher. She was fatally stabbed at Boutique Mall by a person wearing a black robe, black gloves, and a niqab, which is the coverings that show just your eyes.
Right.
Police released security footage of the assailant walking in and running out of the glitzy mall. One article described this as a glitzy mall because everything in Abu Dhabi is
glitzy.
over the top. It's
Did anyone,
redonk.
did anyone see the video of this woman going into the
Yeah.
mall and all that? It was really super weird to me that no one stopped her.
One woman tried to.
I saw someone else chasing after her and trying to stop her because she
Yeah.
goes in, she gets in the elevator, she rides the elevator up, she goes around the corner where I apparently assume that the bathroom is.
restroom.
All of a sudden, all these people are pouring out of where she just went in. 'Cause I assume like they just saw her killed this
They're
person.
like, oh, hell no.
And she just comes walking out in her niqab and just like getting on the elevator. And like one person comes running out and is trying to stop the elevator, and she goes down and then
She's like, ah.
She was really smart. She would have taken it off or like had a different one underneath, and then when she walked out, she'd be like in a purple one or
it's
something.
like a reversible purple niqab.
The perfect crime.
I think they only come in black.
Oh,
Sadly.
Paisley.
But it's slimming. It works out well. Police actually had said of the woman, she aimed to create chaos, shake security in the country, and terrorize people in the UAE. They're still looking for a motive, though the attack actually comes a month after the UAE joined the U.S. in a coalition against ISIS, whatever we are calling them these days. Yeah, the Islamic State. And it took place on the same day as a recording attributed to the Islamic State spokesman Abu Muhammad al-Adnani urged Muslims to attack Westerners by any means, even if only to spit in their faces.
And I have to really say that this is the first time that I've taken ISIS seriously in terms of, terror threats to Americans. I haven't taken Al Qaeda or any real, Muslim or Muslim extremist organization seriously since maybe 2002, because I just feel like if you want to do something, it's super easy to do. I mean, you can sow fear and terror with one guy and a couple $100. It doesn't take much to commit acts of terror.
We went the Boston bombing guys. That wasn't a very expensive thing that I set up at all.
The DC sniper. And those guys brought that entire area to its knees. And they did, and it was like a gun and 5 bullets.
right. A dude.
Yeah,
In a trunk.
Right, in a crappy car. And that was it. And like the entire city was shut down. And I was up there when that was going on. Just, pumping gas while you're up there was like stressful, because that's all you're thinking about is there's some guy who's just shooting people randomly. And so I'm sitting here going to this mall, I'm pumping gas, I could get shot any moment now.
We don't really consider stuff like this happening until it actually comes home, in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that, this woman was an expat and, was in that country teaching with her sons. Like, her sons were there. Now her sons have to, live without their mother. That's really, really heartbreaking.
Well, apparently Abu Dhabi is like extremely westernized, and so a lot of people from America go there and spend time there and live there, and you essentially feel very safe because it doesn't seem like it's like super duper Sharia law kind of area. So.
Well, we found this one story, but it makes you wonder how many other stories are just buried, just like so many other things that are these one random acts of terror that.
Although if it was an American, we'd hear about it. I mean, the kinds of acts of terror that get buried are ones where only Arabs are killed or only black people, or not that black people aren't Americans,
British people are-
right, British people, like I mean, even when a whole bunch of people are killed, the news story, like 20 people are killed and one person's an American, most of that story is going to cover, and this guy was American, and here's all about this person, because we don't care even about British people. If they're not American, we're not very interested here in America. At the same time, I want to kind of back up what I was just saying, because
Well, it makes sense that they would not only care about the American ones, because those are the ones that are going to generate American effort. If a British person gets killed, America's not going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to rally our troops because you killed Americans.
right.
So-
Well, I know that's why they do. They want to do it. I'm just saying that we don't care if they kill anyone except for Americans. The other thing I want to say, though, is that ISIS excuse me.
Burp break.
ISIS sent out this call for killing Americans a while ago, and they've got one lady in a niqab, do through the mall. That's the person who answered their call. And
Well, did she also like set up a bomb too?
She
that they-
did,
they
yeah.
can't-
She left a bomb at a completely different person's house,
yeah,
which a bomb had Small gas
nails.
cylinders, a lighter, glue, and nails. Which that's going to cause some serious damage whenever it explodes. That's just going to be really painful.
Gilman M in the chat room says, dude, Christian, ISIS in control of a large portion of Iraq and Syria. WTF? Well, yeah, but, not many Americans there, so don't care.
And honestly, I wouldn't really know all that much. I admittedly don't know a whole lot about foreign affairs. I wouldn't know pretty much anything if not for listening to like NPR and doing this show and stuff.
Yeah, well, I pay attention to this stuff, and I was kidding. I do care about what ISIS is doing in Syria and Iraq, but my point is that Americans, by and large, do not care.
But she did have the know-how to put a bomb together. Well, assuming she didn't have accomplices of some sort that would caught her up. But so I mean,
there were other people.
It was more than just a stabbing. It was she had a fully functioning bomb that was ready to be.
Maybe.
From the
Because
news
the other thing, the doctor's son came out, saw it, and was like,
Actually, one of the doctor's sons found it when they were headed to the mosque for sunset prayer. So it was a kid that found it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, he came out and was like,
Well, yeah, I mean, most bombs aren't that. I mean, what the Boston bomber ones were inside crock pots or some bullshit. So, I mean, it's not like, there's a big, huge timer and wires everywhere. I mean,
It's not what
Don't
Archer
cut the
wants you to
blue
believe.
wire.
So our chart room was also saying that ISIS is currently trying to secure their local areas. That rings that's BS to me, because like I said, one guy, a plane ticket, and a couple $100. You got it. You can afford one guy, and that seems to me to be as much nonsense as George W. Bush's. We're fighting them over there, so we don't have to fight them over here. It's like, if they wanted to fight us over here, they could. Mm-hmm. They could just come over here and do that. It's not that difficult. For whatever reason, none of these people seem particularly
well, they
eager
have
to do it.
tried. I mean, you have the underwear bomber and the shoe bomber guy. So it's not for a lack of trying. It just seems like some of the ones they try to send over just maybe aren't the brightest. But
you typically don't want to send your best and brightest to do the suicide missions, because then back at headquarters, it was like,
It seems like such a waste.
where's Baghdad?
But at the very least, I mean, there are efforts that just don't seem to be very successful. And I assume with all the NSA wiretapping and looking at all our shit, I'm sure they probably do catch some of that stuff before it makes it over here.
Yes. And I don't think there's any reason that we need to do the Patriot Act. I don't think half the stuff we do at the airport is nonsense. I think in 9/11, if we had been doing the things that we usually do and doing them well, if there wasn't a breakdown between the FBI and the CIA, 9/11 would have been caught and it never would have happened. We don't need all this extra nonsense. We don't need wiretaps and all that garbage. I really feel like ISIS doesn't want us going over there.
Yeah, if they make too big of a
Yeah.
breakthrough in America, then all of a sudden, because right now we're all like, no, we don't want to go to war, no boots on the ground. But as soon as something that's ISIL or
Whatever.
Islamic State related happens in America, you can best believe, I don't know, Hillary Clinton or whoever's next president is going to be like, yes, we're going to destroy them with everything we have.
We're
just like Bush did.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is what, by and large, keeps us safe. I think you have guys like the shoe bomber who can't figure out how to light a lighter. You have geniuses like that who are like, I'm going to do something. Everyone else saw what we did to the Taliban, and they don't want us to do that to them. They want to ride that line. They want to take as much power as they can over there without waking up the sleeping giant and making us go all crazy again. And thank you, because really I don't want us to go all crazy again either.
I think what Ender, said it best. Make sure you destroy your enemy so much that he can't get up and fight you again.
That's a really good and interesting point, because I feel like we don't do that, and I feel like we don't do that because we have.
Horse that's got card. Why do I hate you so
Yeah,
much?
right. But I mean that would be a smarter thing rather than okay, we're gonna wipe away your government and then let you do whatever you want.
Well, that was kind of the point of like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's like, bitches, check it. We'll destroy you.
Preemptive.
Check it.
Well, we didn't even do that with them, though. I mean, although we did more because we set up our own little government over there and we, kind of crafted them. Because I mean,
Wait,
Japan.
we did drop nuclear bombs on them.
Yeah, but two.
Two, but that's two more
It was
than had
still
ever been
nuclear
used ever
bombs.
before.
It's a tiny place.
those were warning shots.
And they could have been a lot bigger had all the fissionable material actually exploded. Only like a small percentage of it actually exploded. So it could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Anyway, we're really far afield here. Getting back to this woman, the other thing that I wanted to mention is they released footage of the police raid where they went in and got her, and there were some other people in the house. I don't know whether they were taken into custody as well. But this was a nice house.
Oh, yeah.
This was a big house. There's a nice car in the drive. Well, I want to say it's a nice car, but I want to say it was like a Camaro. But I mean, it was like a Camaro that was.
That's nice to me.
Sure, it's like a lot nicer than my little Focus. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, it was, but it was also
I don't
like
like the
souped
Camaro.
up and customized and all kinds of stuff. It looked really nice, even though, like, I backed up. I was like, I don't think it's a Camaro. It looks a lot nicer. She's not a poverty-stricken woman. This is not, a poverty thing. This is about religious and political ideology, and that's why she killed this woman and tried to kill this other guy. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think that this kind of speaks to one of the points that generally, it's all poverty-stricken individuals, but this lady was not by any means.
Yeah. No.
Purely ideological.
She had like the nice, thick hemmed niqab. It wasn't like that.
Double stitched.
Right. It wasn't, the terry cloth niqab. Yeah.
It was the fancy linen.
It had like the nice lining. And
It wasn't the 2-ply toilet paper they wear. It's
I was kind of surprised because, they didn't show her face, but just looking at her body, she looked kind of, she was.
she looked pretty hot, right? That's what you
No.
said.
The opposite. I get the impression that she's kind of an older lady, maybe. I don't know.
This is the whole point of those hijabs to make people not look attractive.
Well, she wasn't wearing it when they.
Oh,
Not
she
when
was
they
in-
got her.
She
Yeah,
was,
she was at
she was
home.
in her home. Yeah. So, I don't know. She wasn't what I was expecting.
What were you hoping for? Like a
I know,
supermodel
right?
or something?
No, well,
Somebody young.
yeah, someone young, like idealistic, ideologue, true believer person. This is someone who's I don't know. I maybe I'm just.
I don't know. I always expect it to be like that lady from 24, the Stark lady.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. Let's move on after another quick nose break.
Nose break.
Okay.
Oh, just to go back to that real quick. I don't know if this ever occurs to you guys, but every time I see like Abu Dhabi or whatever, I always think of Aladdin's monkey.
Abu.
Abu. Yeah.
I always think of Garfield. How he wanted to send Nermal to Abu Dhabi.
I don't remember that.
That and I was thinking that blue dabba-dee-dabby, like I think of that something when I heard. So those two things always come to mind when I think of Abu Dhabi.
Oh my god, you're like blowing my mind right now.
You were just high on cold medicine.
I am. All right.
Moving on.
I'm kind of sorry Jay isn't here to say yay plague about this next one, but because this is like the first time that I kind of want to say yay plague.
Do you want me to say it for him?
Okay.
Yay, plague!
Fear of spreading Ebola has brought the practice of female genital mutilation almost to a halt in Sierra Leone, where traditionally 4/5 of all girls undergo that procedure, or are victims of that procedure, I should say. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And I think for me personally, I'm kind of disgusted too, because it's an awful, awful procedure, and I wanted to read part of Ayaan Hirsi Ali's description of hers in a minute, but this is here. Let me read what she wrote about her circumcision in her book Infidel. This has always stayed with me since I first read that book, and it won't leave my mind. She wrote, "Then the scissors went down between my legs, and the man cut off my inner labia and clitoris. I heard it like a butcher snipping the fat off a piece of meat. A piercing pain shot up between my legs, indescribable, and I howled. Then came the sewing, the long, blunt needle clumsily pushed into my bleeding outer labia. When the sewing was finished, the man cut the thread off with his teeth." This is what they're doing to young girls, often without anesthesia, as in this case. Or this is what they used to do before something bad might happen to them for doing it. And then suddenly, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. So, I mean, it's a complete lack of empathy or even thinking about the ramifications of what you're doing to another person.
Oh, I thought one of the interesting things in the article that the lady was saying was, I'm happy, I got the procedure done for myself. It's tradition, and my daughter got it done too, and I'm happy for her. It kind of reminds me of, with people in America, the same kind of thing with circumcision. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I like the way my penis looks, and I want my son's penis to look the same way. Hell yeah, so that's why I got him circumcised.
Right.
There's really no thought behind it, just that, like, oh, that's the way it is. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, it's tradition, and it's the same thing with spanking. My parents spanked me, and I turned out okay. No, you didn't. And
Yeah. There's no point.
yeah, it's bad. Okay, no matter what, what your perception is. Has anyone ever watched a male circumcision
No.
and the screaming that comes with it? I mean, obviously. So let me take a step back and say, obviously, male circumcision is a very different procedure than female genital mutilation, but it's that doesn't make it okay in
There's
my
videos
mind.
of that, though? Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
done on, like, babies? Wouldn't that be, like,
Yeah.
child porn or something?
It's
It is. It's hot.
That's what Christian really loves. It's right up his alley. No, like in Jewish faith, they do the bris, and it's a big deal.
It's like everybody's just standing around,
Yeah.
just waiting for it.
And then the rabbi sucks the baby's dick.
Like you do.
I don't know. I've only seen like a surgery where they were like reconnecting a muscle, and I was like, no, I'm good. I don't really need to see this.
All right, I'm gonna play a video. I haven't watched this video. I'm just gonna play it. This is a male circumcision. Let's see if the baby is
My
screaming.
name is Susan Stovangen. I've been an RN since 1968. And
That's an old toothless woman talking about it.
At least we can edit this out.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Ben and Ben's mom. We're gonna do the anesthesia. Everybody hates the most.
Do
It's
it.
cold.
Oh, it's cold. That's what he
I'm
means.
like cringing already. Just
waiting.
It's like I heard the baby cry. It's like, no. Well, I don't like hearing babies cry. Like, it makes me feel sad.
It
for
makes
some
you
reason.
hungry, and you know it.
It makes me sad because I'm hungry.
and then he's hungry because he's sad.
It's a vicious cycle. No good at all.
All right. Anyway, anyone else got anything they want to say about this?
Well, the I guess the one little note that I have is the president of the National Council of SOWIs. How do you?
Oh, the people who do the
Like
female
they're-
circumcision.
Yeah, they're like in charge of it and everything. She was complaining about how there's nobody to help them in their time of need by putting all of these people out of work. It's like you are concerning yourself more about, keeping up your disgusting tradition than you are about maiming
Yeah, exactly.
these people.
Like, they don't think a moment about what they're doing to young girls
No.
until, oh wait, this affects me now.
Man, it is so self-serving. It's like, oh, I might get Ebola if I do. Oh, well, I don't want to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There is an organization. There's an organization that is actually helping the SOWIs. I'm going to say it like that, SOWIs.
Whatever it is.
Helping the SOWIs who are getting out of work. They're teaching them different life skills like hairdressers and stuff. So
That's good.
Yeah, no, that's very
you
positive,
don't have
actually.
to. You don't have to continue doing this.
This
like
horrible
You have
thing.
scissors.
Exactly.
Let's use them properly.
You could do the full paper and make little.
It's okay to cut hair. It'll grow back.
cut hair, not labia.
Oh, I hope that records good and you got a good.
Show title. And we got like a good clipping snort out of it too. Well, I'm gonna try this.
That's really
That
good.
needs to be in an intro audio at some point. That was good. I like it.
I'm gonna try this video one more time.
He tried to warn me from the start. He said I'm hitting the way too hard. But doesn't he know that I'm trying to take my car?
Why is this music on?
I have
this?
no idea, but like, oh, that was disgusting. I can't believe people do this to babies.
And the music went with that?
That's like
The kid is-
bluegrass or
I
something.
like the music, but now it's going to be forever associated with circumcision. So I'm just like,
Well, no, that's,
damn,
that's,
man.
that's the females.
No, that's a young male baby, and he is freaking out. Oh well.
That's not the music I would put to that.
No. Put something very, very
Put like
sad.
the Jaws music or something to it.
Right of the Valkyries.
So speaking of consequences for your immoral acts, American evangelical pastor Scott Lively is the guy who is the guy who constantly thwarted in his efforts to destroy gay people in the United States, decided to export it to Uganda and Eastern Europe and help that government craft their Kill the Gays bill. 2 years ago, two organizations, the Sexual Minorities of Uganda and the Center for Constitutional Rights, filed a lawsuit against Lively for crimes against humanity and helping spread propaganda and violence in Uganda. Lively has sought over the past 2 years to have that case dismissed, but last week a circuit court panel denied that petition, and so the case is finally going to go to federal court. And it's not just, you've got a new dog neighbor. And it's not just that he helped them craft a bill that made it illegal just to be gay in Uganda. And I mean, like the American right-wing Taliban guys, they let you be gay as long as you don't do gay things. You can't even just be gay in Uganda. That is now was a jailable offense. I think they repealed it, didn't they?
They repealed it, but they're working on
A new
writing
one?
another one.
Okay.
Mhm. They said they hope to bring it to discussion by Christmas.
So he's also been organizing anti-gay hate in Africa and Eastern Europe. In the years following his efforts in Uganda, hate crimes against gay people increased an estimated 750 to 1,900%. That's what this asshat managed to accomplish. Now, I wanted to play some audio because I want to nail down exactly why he's had to move his crap overseas. Scott Lively also ran for governor of Massachusetts this year. I don't know why he would run for governor in the most liberal state in the union, or one of them. So I pulled audio from a candidates forum that I think highlights why he can't accomplish this here in the United States. The question the candidates were asked was about LGBT equality, and they went down the line, and everyone's like, "Oh, I think we need to work harder to be more inclusive of gay people." Someone actually mentioned transgender rights, which I thought was great. And then we got to Scott Lively, who said this.
I would, as governor, I would ban LGBT propaganda to children. This is a law that I advocated for in Russia. They've adopted it. It's going to be successful for their society. There remains no objective proof that homosexuality is innate and unchangeable despite decades of effort, which means that it is an acquired condition. We must assume that that's true. And if that assumption is true, then it's extraordinarily irresponsible to be treating our children as guinea pigs in a massive social experiment. They should be protected from the promotion of homosexuality as good, normal, and an alternative choice for themselves.
Mr. McCall.
I just loved that one. That he
Hooting with laughter. It's amazing.
I just love it. I mean, and this is the United States. I mean, we're not this great, overwhelmingly tolerant nation either, but apparently we're not Uganda,
On the bright side.
right? So while over here in the United States, he's being laughed off the stage at a mayoral gubernatorial candidate panel, over in Uganda, they let him talk in front of their parliament for 5 hours. This is 10, but for those of you on
Each
YouTube,
hand is emphasizing what the other one is saying.
oh my God, I just loved that. Everyone was just laughing at him.
How can you talk about anything for 5 hours?
I know, right?
So with
Like-
somebody that crazy, like, what?
How many times do you think he repeated himself?
Oh, I bet not at all.
I'm sure there was
damn.
some sort of like question and answer thing, so I'm sure every different question he could pontificate for a good 20 minutes on if he needed to.
I watched a lot of video of this guy just randomly trying to find something that I could play. And I'm sorry the audio quality on that was so poor, but it was just amazing to hear all these people laughing at him. But he just throws all kinds of nonsense against the wall. They're Nazis, things that they do.
They go and find children and turn them gay so
Yeah.
they'll fight for them in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is super crazy. I don't know what I'm gonna hear that.
I hear it. I don't know what it is.
Okay. I just noticed it. Okay. Now it's gone. What was I saying?
They incorporated kids, and he likes something about being Nazis. And
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Using them for their cause.
Nope, it's gone.
No.
I thought it was kind of interesting watching some like the video clips of that preacher that he worked closely with to help get some of that going. And that guy, like, it reminded me a lot of, I mean, I think we've even covered on the show, is like some of the early anti-gay propaganda that a lot of these preachers would go through and be like, I went and did research on what homosexuals do when they're doing it, and you would not believe the things I saw. They went and put stuff up their butts, and,
And
went
what they
took
mean
vegetables.
is they hired a prostitute, met them in a bathroom.
Right.
That's how it goes.
I mean, it's very clear that a lot of it almost seems like he was coached by this guy. Like, this is what worked for us way back when, so we're going to start this here.
Right. Did you see the Ugandan priest who was like a friend of his main contact over there, talking to his congregation about what great gay people do in the bedroom? He was talking about, first they go over, they undress themselves, and they smell each other's butts. That's
What are they, dogs?
I know, right? But he had he had a PowerPoint, and he was showing his congregation like all these guys dressed up, and they're all white guys. I mean, everyone in the room is a black person, and I guess maybe
Well, it's Uganda, so.
Right. But I'm just saying that, maybe it's one of those, because I can imagine a white evangelical in this country putting up pictures of black people so that they could, really get that, xenophobic reaction from their audience as well. So I just wonder if that's why they did that, to make it seem not just about white people, but make it seem Western, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it was really weird. It was just like this weird fetish crap that he was doing.
Yeah, then when you see like other clips of people, it's like it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and
I
Steve.
saw that one, and that's such an American
come on
thing.
now.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So before we move on to this next story, let's take a quick break. And before we take a break, I do want to say that, usually Jay has to do this stuff. He just text messaged me and said, haha, I hope you have your phone on silent. Joke's on you, bro. I'm a professional. That's what I do. Corpus Christi Atheists meets every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. This weekend we will be meeting at B&J's Pizza on SPID just east of Airline. If you don't know where that is, visit ccatheists.com for a list of our public events. If you're interested in connecting with our affiliates, visit southtexascor.com to connect with any of our sister organizations from Corpus Christi down to Brownsville, Texas. God have mercy on your soul if you live in Brownsville. So also this week, there was a Think Progress article about Christian terrorism that I thought might spark some conversation. It was motivated in part by that Larry McWilliams, that's such a weird name. His name is it's not Williams. McWilliams, Quilliams, which is just weird. That's why that guy snapped, I guarantee you.
He got tired of having to spell it for everybody.
So Larry McWilliams, who is the Texas Christian version of a Star Wars stormtrooper, I've decided, because he showed up to the Austin County Courthouse with multiple guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. In the course of 10 minutes, fired over 100 rounds in busy downtown Austin at the courthouse, at the Mexican consulate, and he hit nothing. He hit no one.
Well, it was also like 2 a.m., so most of the places
it was 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, I thought it was 2 a.m.
No, I think it was 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe I'm wrong.
Interesting.
If I am,
So this whole thing, like he went and shot up all those buildings, was like, it's 2 a.m., dude. Like everyone's at home asleep.
No, it was really busy when he did that. I mean, it was...
2:22 a.m. Friday.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. Why do you go to shoot something up when there's...
Boom.
Okay, whatever.
Deal
man.
with it. Where you at?
All right.
Yeah, what's the point in going in the middle of the night? Like, that was just some kind of suicide mission.
I think he was just, I don't, well, who
He
knows
was
what
a
the fuck
little
that-
drunk.
I think
The bars had just closed. He got kicked out of the last one on 6th Street. And
he
couldn't
might have
help
just
it.
been trying to make more of a statement rather than actually
It could
trying
be.
to do any harm, potentially.
In my mind, though, he's walking down the street. He's like, blam, 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 and he's shooting all these things. And everyone's just kind of looking at him like, what are you doing? And then Indiana Jones walks out and just shoots him once. And that's what happened in my head.
Kalima.
So this guy had ties to a Christian hate group, the Phineas Priesthood, and had a copy of their book Vigilantes of Christendom, which is a book written by Richard Kelly Hoskins, who is also author of such classics as Our Nordic Race. I encourage everyone to run out and buy that one.
Oh, the next book we're doing?
He was, he was proud of being Nordic and not American.
Well,
Hey, some of us are proud of being Vikings.
I got plenty of Welsh, but it's just weird that this guy in particular isn't like, I'm American, not Nordic, you know.
I have no ties to any other country than America.
America.
Oh, Irish, Welsh, German.
Whatever.
It's all the same.
Anyway, so this is a great guy.
I'm very, very white, is what I'm saying.
We won't hold that against you. I did want to read just a little part from the foreword of this Phineas Priesthood book because it's crazy. So the book says, as the kamikaze is to the Japanese, as the Shiite is to Islam, as the Zionist is to the Jew, so the Phineas Priest is to Christendom. Editor's note, Phineas is such a weak name for a terrorist group. I mean, like, I'm thinking Phineas and Ferb the whole time. Anyway, it goes on to say, in Denver, Colorado, an anti-Christian radio announcer stepped from his Volkswagen and was greeted with a hail of gunfire. In North Carolina, men entered a homosexual porno parlor, shot the occupants, and burned the parlor down on top of them. In the Midwest, interracial couples jogging together fell one after another before the carefully spaced shots of a distant sniper. In Seattle, a bomb exploded in a porno movie theater. It makes little difference whether you agree or disagree with the Phineas Priesthood. It is important that you know it exists, it is active, and in the very near future may become a central fact in your life. Groovy people, these Christians.
They sound like really, really awesome
Yeah.
people.
Well, a lot of these Christian terrorist groups, I mean, it's become so prevalent that they've had to reenact the domestic terrorist organization for the DOJ.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So they used to just kind of not be there, but now it's got more funding now because they've noticed that there's a lot of fundamentalist religious terrorism going on inside America.
I think I saw like maybe a 47% increase during the Bush years, and then just like tripled in these hate groups popping up under Obama.
Well, yeah, the day that Obama became president, like KKK and every other racist group, just membership through the roof.
Right. So add those crazy people to groups like the KKK, which is a Christian group, abortion doctors being murdered or their offices being attacked, blah, blah, blah. Leads me to this question. I mean, do we legitimately have a Christian terrorism problem the way we have I don't even want to say like perceived Muslim terrorism problem in this country, I mean.
It's probably worse because most of them are just the everyday guys that go to church every Sunday that do have access to actually purchase whatever they want at the local sporting goods store. Because, sorry, that's okay.
Finish your thought.
No, we're not moving on until you finish the thought.
Well, and it's sad that they get access so easily because they go to the church like, oh, they're good church going people, and they get lumped into that category to where that's good people.
It drives me crazy because these same people who are calling for Middle Eastern people and Muslims to be profiled go bonkers when they get wind that the FBI is saying these guys who
Profess a Christian faith.
Right. They start profiling the white Christians, then they get a little upset. It's like, well, you can't really have it both ways. I am against profiling of anyone. I think it's lazy. I think it's ineffective. But if you're gonna support it for one group, you gotta support it for the other, I think.
That's just equality right there.
Right? we gotta bend everybody over, or it's just not fair. Everyone lubed finger. Everyone gets to bend over, but everyone gets the lube before the poking goes.
One of the interesting things I was reading on there's another Christian organization, a terrorist organization, whatever you want to call it, the Hutari or the Hutari.
I don't know.
I don't know how you pronounce it, but apparently they had so much weapons in their cache that when they they had more weapons than any, like, if you add up all the weapons that had been seized from Muslim terrorists in the United States, they had more weapons than all of them combined.
Wow.
Their cache was so large of all the weapons and ammunition that they had.
And who are these people?
The Hutari? I couldn't find anything on them besides just that one huge bus that they had.
That's crazy. So
Second Amendment, yo.
yeah, we have a right to not be profiled as Christians, and we have a right to have our cache of weaponry, y'all. I also wanted to ask you guys this question. The Christians who murder abortion doctors and firebomb their offices or acid bomb their offices, are their actions justified if you grant them that their views are accurate? So if abortion doctors were in fact murdering children and no one would stop them, aren't you morally justified in...
Well, those are almost really the only true Christians, really. Because if the Bible does truly say that that's murder, then it would be your Christianly duty to go and murder those, or to stop them in some way.
Somehow.
And if they're protected by the government, the only way you would be able to stop them would be to murder them.
That was can anyone disagree with that? Because that's my perspective.
You're saying that's the way they think, so because they believe so hardly or truly in this book and the way it's written.
I think it would be
fine.
Immoral not to shoot abortion doctors if you really believe
In
that.
their mind, because that's what they believe.
If you believe that were true.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah,
So
okay.
so let's pretend you wake up tomorrow and you look out your front, you're cleaning your gun because you live in Texas.
That's what I do.
And that's what you do.
As you do.
You look at in the front yard and there's this guy and he's got a big pen full of toddlers. And he's taking them out one at a time and he's staking them in the head, Walking Dead style. And he's got this big pile of dead
Babies
toddlers.
on spikes.
Yeah.
First,
Well, it's like at the fence, and you just.
Yeah, exactly. This is what's happening in your front yard.
first, I'd say, Jay, you should have told me you were coming.
Okay, so
yeah.
first thing you do is you call the police. And the police are like,
We'll be there in a couple minutes.
no, the police are like,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He has the right to do that. He has the right to put babies on pikes in your front yard. You go out there and you ask him nicely, and he says no. You try and try and get rid of his pikes, and he pushes you down. Now you're still holding this very nicely cleaned gun that you just cleaned that morning. You have bullets because you live in Texas. Wouldn't you have to stop him before he got to the rest of the toddlers?
I would think of a way other than killing him.
Like what?
Both
It doesn't
kneecaps.
work.
Locking him in the back
Both the
of my
kneecaps.
attic. and
Throwing him
taking
down a
him away.
well.
But you shoot him.
Because he's doing harm to others.
Yeah. Okay. So all I'm saying is that because this, and let me back up and explain why I'm saying this, because I use this when I'm talking to, right-wing Christians about abortion, and they say, abortion murders babies, and I tell them, you don't really believe that, because if you did believe that, this is what you would have to do, and you're not doing that. So I don't, and you would do that if you were confronted with someone who was killing people in front of you, and you could stop them. You would do whatever it took to stop those people. Which is why I think most Christians really believe that there's a difference between murdering babies and abortion. There are some who don't, like Roeder, was that the guy who killed Tiller? Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
These abortion killers, these are the people who actually believe that. They're the only ones who are crazy enough to believe that nonsense.
Well, and it's kind of my problem whenever I was a Christian and kind of the cognitive dissonance, because the Bible says one thing, but society says another thing, and you can't reconcile the two. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So you can't really be a true Christian unless you are like if I was a Christian, I would have to be a literalist. I would have to be the fundamentalist. Mm-hmm. The Bible is meant literally as it says. The Earth's 6,000 years old, and that's to me the fundamentalists, whether you're Muslim or Christian, are really the only true Christians. Everyone else is just a regular person who cherry picks like any good Christian.
Like
the
lame
stuff-
Catholics.
Yeah. So,
All I'm saying, though, is that this is both why, if abortion doctor killers weren't totally crazy, they would be morally justified in what they're doing. But it's also the best reason when you go talk to your Christian buddies who are protesting outside abortion clinics. This is how you can get them to see, one of a couple of ways you can get them to see they don't really think that abortion is murder. They may think it's wrong, but it is not murder. And if you can get them that far, if you can get them to the point where they, can at least acknowledge that there's a difference between putting a 3-year-old on a pike and having an abortion in an abortion clinic, then you can get somewhere.
you can influence doxastic openness.
You almost said it right.
I'm so proud of you.
Doxastic. The other one that I tend to go with is the cart of fertilized embryos. So there's a fire in a fertility clinic. There's a group of 3-year-olds in one corner, and there's a cart with 5,000 fertilized eggs in the other, and you can only save either the 3-year-olds, the 3-year-olds, or the 5,000 fertilized embryos. Which one do you take?
Save the fertilized embryos for caviar?
That's the delicious alternative.
After 3, the meat's too tough anyhow. So.
I mean, by that point, there's no point.
I mean, even if you still save the 3-year-olds just because the embryos won't scream as badly and it won't be as annoying when they go out.
And plus, if you wouldn't got the embryos, they'd be like, what a monster. There are 3 children in there.
You can't win.
But
right.
the Bible says.
So before we move on, let's take another nose break. Sorry, YouTube people and chat room. Lord knows I am. All right, let's move on.
So last week we told you about Piedmont, Alabama. That was the town that tried to use Keep Christ in Christmas as their official town parade theme.
Yeehaw!
But they were told by Christians man crush Andrew Seidel of, according to The Blaze, the church-state separatist group.
Church-state separatist group. That's amazing. Oh, that piece of crap website.
Yeah. So Andrew Seidel, says, "Hey guys, this is kind of unconstitutional."
He said, I think, and I quote, Constitution?
Pretty sure. So Mayor Bill Baker told Fox News' Todd Starnes, "It was a great theme. I was totally shocked when I received the letter. It's a small town. It's a small Christmas parade. We didn't think there would be any problems at all." And of course, the city attorney told the mayor that, yeah, the FFRF is right.
Andrew Seidel just kicked your ass, so we should just, back off this thing. And I want to emphasize that point. Andrew Seidel kicked your ass. So they folded, completely crumbled, and said, okay.
Okay,
no more
well,
theme.
we won't use it for the official theme, but the citizens of Piedmont sort of will not have their right to alienate all the non-Christians in town tromped all over, because they went right ahead with all of their religious signs and floats, complete with a man dressed as Jesus hanging on a cross.
And that was super creepy. I mean, that was like
Yeah.
Halloween creepy. Did anyone see the picture of this guy?
Yeah.
That I saw.
It was like, flashlight under the chin scary. I mean, is that actually scary, or is that just me?
That's like Midnight Society. Are you afraid of the dark? That was.
It was super creepy. That was creepy Jesus. That was not I love everybody Jesus. That was
Yeah. That was just the wrong holiday too, man.
Right.
You want us to celebrate Easter and Christmas? At least differentiate between your own damn holidays.
No,
Anyway.
I'm kind of okay with how this whole thing turned out.
I am too.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to do what they wanted, but the town still said, "Okay, we won't make it the official theme."
Yeah, the governing body was no longer enshrining one religion, and everyone's religious.
They got to express it
were
themselves.
completely protected, and if someone wanted to bring their Muslim display, they could have.
I've been so annoyed at these
Presumably
dumbasses. I've been so annoyed by these dumbasses all week because they've been crowing like they won. So one, Andrew Seidel kicked your ass. And you had to abide by the Constitution. Second, everyone in the town got to express their First Amendment right. And they could hold up all the signs they wanted that said, keep Christ in Christmas. You're a dumbass, but you have a right to that sign. They had the largest turnout that they've had in several years, which is great.
And it wasn't government endorsed.
Right.
It was fully citizen supported.
Right.
Perfect.
And no one in that city understands that their win was Andrew Seidel's win. Everyone's rights were respected. The Constitution was respected. Everything happened the way it's supposed to. You don't own the government. The government is apart from your church. But you still have First Amendment rights. You can be a Christian. You can pray in school. You just can't make everyone else do it. You can't have state employees working for your church. So I have a proposition.
For Andrew Seidel.
No, although we should involve him. Because maybe he could come to because I want to go to Piedmont next year, and maybe we could bring him with us. Oh, he could be the Andrew Seidel float. That would be amazing.
Just him walking down the street and waving. Hey, guys.
We're going to have to do a lot of car washes between now.
A lot of big sales.
Right. But I mean, for next year in the Piedmont parade, we need a satanic float. We need a Pastafarian float. We need lots of all hail Satan chants. We need
Hail Sagan chants.
those two. We need to keep the Satan and Santa signs. And then explain to them this is, you have the right to do that, and this is us expressing our First Amendment rights as well.
Yeah. There's another quote from this guy that really bothered me. Said, I'd like to tell the one person who complained to stay home. If they don't like Christian theme, then just stay home. And I think this mayor kind of forgets that he's elected to represent all the people of this town, not just the people that voted for him. And it's like an epidemic that plagues, I think, like all politics right now, and it really aggravates me.
Luna 188 in the chat room says that they should have a Christmas porn float. I don't know what Christmas porn is, but I'm oddly aroused by this.
It's where the girl's wearing like a Christmas hat, and that's Christmas porn.
I think it's because Gilman said Andrew Seidel should have his ass as a Christmas sign, and Christian would fap to it.
Okay.
Again, I asked, Gilman, are you high? So Baker actually also said, which this one annoyed me, and it annoys me that a small group of people can do what they do and get away with it, and the majority has to suffer. They are infringing on my beliefs.
Oh, Andrew Seidel kicked your ass, buddy. He kicked your ass up and down Main Street. Your rights were not infringed. This was the mayor who said this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, get out of town.
It's like, and now with the outcome of the situation, now nobody's religion is being infringed on. Everybody is being respected.
Right. And you have Andrew Seidel to thank for that. You have Andrew Seidel to thank for all of the signs and your record turnout and everyone expressing their constitutional rights and no one's constitutional rights being held.
No one was barred from expressing their religious beliefs. Everyone got to bring whatever sign they wanted.
Yep. It was like a Christmas miracle.
But this is also the same town that also did the prayer before the football games and everything.
Yeah.
And now they just have like a huge people gather around the whole stadium and pray, which I'm okay with because it's citizen organized.
Yep. And
but he still sells it. It's like, oh, we totally stuck to those atheists.
It's like, no, you're playing by the rules now, dumbass.
Thank you.
Andrew Seidel kicks this guy's ass at least once a year. I mean, this has got to be like the town Andrew Seidel goes to just to flex his muscles.
What do you think is going to happen next year?
I don't know.
Something with Thanksgiving?
That would be nice.
It'll probably be Easter. That's what
yeah.
coming out. It'll be an Easter
It'll
thing.
be Easter. I wonder what they do for Easter.
Gonna have to keep our eyes open for that.
Seriously, we'll have to give Andrew Seidel a heads
Throw
up.
a web crawl out there for anything. So.
You might want to keep the town of Piedmont, Alabama on speed dial.
All right. So, speaking of the war on Christmas, American Atheists is doing their traditional Christmas billboard campaign again this year. If you haven't seen them, it's a picture of a young girl writing a letter to Santa, and it reads, "All I want for Christmas is to skip church. I'm too old for fairy tales." Those billboards have been met hilariously and simultaneously with cries from Christians saying that American Atheists is exploiting a child to promote their message, and counter billboards using a child to promote their message, which somehow they're not exploiting. I don't know.
Or the freedom from atheism
No. This is some church group who.
Well, there was also a Freedom from Atheism billboard.
Did they put up billboards? I think they were just a crappy Facebook group.
Well, there was something that I saw on Facebook that the American Humanist Association posted that they were using the American Humanist Association's logo.
Oops.
With it.
Well, it was probably online though, because I don't think these people.
I saw it on Facebook, so it's
Yeah.
They're an anti group.
It happens.
Seems ridiculous.
They're an anti-atheism group.
Well, and atheism's like anti-theism. Sort of, I don't know. It just seems weird. Like I don't know.
Turns into a ball
against
of fuck.
the group against the thing.
It's just a mess.
So anyway, Bill O'Reilly weighed in, of course, on the controversy this week. And he actually had a psychotherapist on his show to try and figure out what the hell is wrong with atheists.
And she was an agnostic, by the way.
I know. Like,
Total credit there.
Yeah.
Total credit.
Trotted that out like, she's completely,
We're totally open-minded guys.
Right. We've got an agnostic
I
on
got
the
someone
show.
from your side that way she'll disagree with me.
Right. So I pulled audio from that exchange, but before I play it, I wanted to just ask, do you guys feel like atheists, or American atheists in particular, wage some kind of war on Christmas? Is there a war on Christmas, or is that nonsense?
I don't know. I have a whole bit about that, but I don't know if you want to play the video first.
So want me to play the video first? I can do that. It's not a video, it's audio.
Oh, whatever.
Stupid.
It's audio pulled from a video. So you're both right.
All right, fine. Everyone gets a medal for showing up.
Participation trophy.
Joining us now from Boston, psychotherapist Karen Ruskin, who is agnostic. I cannot understand for the life of me why anyone would bother trying to diminish the federal holiday of Christmas, Doctor. Why do they do it?
Here's why. When you feel like you are in the minority, you experience the desire to try and push, to sell your product, if you will, to sell your belief in a loud way to others in order to make yourself feel better, to validate your view, to make sure others hear you.
Okay. So I'll just start and say I don't feel like a minority. I am one. And yes, I want the majority, who typically runs roughshod over us, case in point Piedmont, to hear me. I have no problem with that. I think that's okay.
I thought this.
Except for the feel like.
This lady is just, I like the way she described the billboard. It's horrifically insulting. It's like, really? That's pretty tame, I thought.
Kind of exaggerating.
We're getting
a
to
little
that
bit.
part. I'm cutting it up into bits and pieces so that we can take it one at a time here. Let me go to the second part here.
I don't, but it's so counterproductive if you look at it
Indeed.
just from an objective point of view. Putting up a sign like this just makes people angry with you, all right, because they feel they're being insulted, and they are. It's an insulting sign, is it not?
It's horrifically insulting. It's really disrespectful, but not unlike the bully who tries to push other people down in order to make themselves feel better. That's what's happening here.
Okay, would you have something to say about that, Raph?
Well, I don't know. For me, the article made this little comment, and I think they meant it more to be curt, but I thought it was actually pretty insightful. And they say he did not invite on air any families who will no longer be celebrating Christmas as a result of the sign. And for me, I think that's kind of the failing of the war on Christmas is nowhere have they shown a family who will no longer be able to celebrate Christmas anymore because of these billboards. So you show me that family, though, that billboard went up and now they can't celebrate Christmas anymore, and I myself will write a strongly worded letter to American Atheists and say, like, hey, stop it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I have a couple more clips of this. I didn't pull the last bit, but he says something in the last part of their interview that is right in there that made me think the exact same thing. He talks about how he and his show and his viewers flexed their muscles on a store chain who was instructing their employees to bid customers happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas. He made them start saying Merry Christmas. And to me, that's exactly what he's accusing American Atheists of doing. He's making, you are going to celebrate Christmas whether you want to or not. you have no choice, and we're going to force you to do this. All American Atheists is doing is saying, hey, there are some people who don't believe, and they're not going to. And so if your kids are, this kid in the billboard was probably a little young to have.
It was the child of one of the American Atheist individuals.
Yeah. But this fictional child who is writing Santa Claus, probably too young to have those things. But I know, like, I was forced to go to church after I told my parents I do not believe this stuff. So, it's a message of saying, hey, maybe be respectful of your kids too. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, it kills me. It's like Bill O'Reilly. He even showed like a clip of the American Atheist guy describing like, we just wanted to get the message out there that there, if you don't believe in God, that it's okay. There's other people like you. Feel free to find us on American Atheist. And it's just like, yeah, he's just lying, I guess.
Right.
Like, it annoys me.
Can I digress for just a second? Because you just talked about the American Atheist guy, which is Danielle Moscato, who is a woman. But it's really interesting because she just came out as a transgender woman, and she's been in the news a lot since that happened, and she's officially changed her name to Danielle, and all of the news organizations are doing this thing where they say, Danielle Moscato, he says this.
Oh.
Well, look at the video clip. It looked like a dude. My bad.
No. I totally get it, and I think that's it's interesting to me. I wasn't criticizing you. I don't want you to get that impression because I think what's happening is because I don't think most people would know, and they see because Danielle is not presenting as a woman. So if you talk to Danielle on the phone, you're going to automatically assume Danielle is a guy. Because she's not trying to sound feminine in any way, and the only way you'd know is if you asked, hey, so, and even that might be a little offensive, hey, your name's Danielle, what's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
She did say in the blog post where she came out as transgender, she said, I understand that people are going to have a problem with the name and the gender for a little while. It's like, I totally get that, but work on it.
I would like to talk. Maybe we should see if she would come on the show just to talk about that a little bit. So I'm just curious how she would want people to handle that if she's okay with people just making that assumption based on her appearance and her voice. If she would prefer people to ask, should the term Danielle be enough to trigger in a reasonable person just asking the question? And is that a thing we should do to be more sensitive to the trans community?
Do you think that's the future of us?
Yes.
The first thing asking somebody is he or she, like, what's your pronoun?
I think in those situations, I think that is what we will end up doing in the next 20 years. I think that'll be a thing.
Like for everybody?
Yeah. Well, I think that if you suspect that, I think if you suspect.
Well, because I did not suspect at all. Like, I didn't even look at the name of her whenever they put the little clip. I just saw what looked like a dude. So I was like, oh.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you are a reporter writing a news column and you talk to Danielle and then you're writing Danielle Moscato, he said blah blah, that would be enough to make you say, oh, I should ask. And I think that's reasonable. I don't think that's.
I think they just figure it's like the Johnny Cash song that they're just gonna a boy named Sue.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Johnny Cash, man.
That's I know Johnny Cash, but I don't know anything about that song. I know Johnny Cash because Nine Inch Nails did a cover. Or no, he did a
Nine
cover
Inch
of
Nails
Nine Inch
cover.
Nails. Yeah. Sorry.
Which Trent Reznor said was better.
Did he really?
He did.
He's wrong.
He did say that he did say it was better than the original.
He is wrong.
It's so good.
Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, so this is the other thing. Getting back to what we were actually talking about. Do you guys think that this campaign is productive, counterproductive?
War on Christmas. Or the
This
atheist
particular.
Americans. I think anytime you generate media buzz or whatever about atheism, I think that can only be positive.
Yeah,
Even if a lot of Christian people think it's not, I
hate-
think for the atheist community it is positive.
Yeah, I hate the way that they use bully. Just because you disagree with somebody and you say, well, this is why I don't agree with what you're saying. It's like, well, you're just arguing with me because you're trying to make me think what you think, so you're just being a bully. I just hate, or you shouldn't say that because you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. If they read that, their feelings are going to be hurt.
And the times that, that Christians are met with resistance from atheists is when You know, when they're already doing something to provoke the atheist a good majority of the time, when they're already tromping on constitutional rights, things of that nature, they're going to be met with the resistance and the defensiveness. It's just, it's natural.
I always hate where I see like the comments where it's like, oh, I don't see why atheists have to go and trumpet their stuff. I mean, you don't see like a group of non-stamp collectors, you know, getting together to trumpet them not collecting stamps. It's like, but if everybody in America collected stamps, there would be a coalition of people that don't, that would want everyone to know.
And you don't have, you know, religious people put up "you're going to hell if you don't believe this" signs. I mean, they are doing this exact same thing. I mean, so Bill O'Reilly asks, you know, isn't this insulting or whatever? And I have to say, this sign is.
I think that's pretty tame.
I think it's insulting, though. I mean, you're basically telling someone who has firmly held stupid beliefs, speaking of insulting, that what you believe is a fairy tale. That's insulting. I mean, it is.
I don't think it was that insulting.
But it is. I mean, right? I mean, that's an insult.
I thought it was pretty. I guess I could see, yes, insult. Is it horrifically insulting? I'd say not. But.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Everything you base your life on is just a story for kids.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be a pretty devastating thing to hear, I imagine, if you were that. But so some insults, I think, are necessary. And I think this particular insult is not only just an insult, but it is also reflective of reality. Well, demonstrably.
Well, reality, and I mean, who on Christmas morning, if you're a kid, I just got my RC car, I don't want to go to church, I want to play with my goddamn toys.
That's why we always got my mom to take us to midnight mass so that we could, you know, enjoy Christmas and not go to stupid church. All right, let's go to the next clip here.
So your theory is that atheists don't feel very good about themselves because they don't believe in the deity?
Well, no. Not all atheists are as nasty as what's happening here. Some atheists have a true belief that there is no God, and they feel very comfortable with that. But there are others who have a very uncomfortable belief about it. They feel the need to push others down, and that's the group that you're seeing here. A group of people all coming together in a gang-like format in order to push other people down. But not all atheists are like that.
Wait, so are we the Sharks or the Jets?
We need some signs. No gang signs.
Oh, gang signs. I was like, we have signs. That's what we've been talking about. Peace,
I don't know.
Beauty. We've got billboards in St. Louis
We need
and
gang
Memphis.
signs so we'll all know and identify with each other. I don't know, something cool.
So, you know,
Isn't that what the neckbeards are for? No.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to grow out a neckbeard. Gosh.
You intolerant, horrible person. So again, I think the sign wasn't insulting. Luna 188 in the chat room agrees with me. The best way to get a call out in the chat room is agree with me. But do you think the sign is pushing people down the way she's saying it? Because I don't feel like that's the case.
Well, and it comes back to like, show me that family who can no longer celebrate Christmas anymore, and I will believe that this sign is responsible for, you know, ending Christmas.
Some sort of war on Christmas.
Yeah, but that's not the case, because everyone who wants to celebrate Christmas, for the most part, is being able to celebrate Christmas.
All right, last clip.
Now, why would that bullying group, and I don't think there are that many of them, but there are some prominent media people in that crew, why would they say, you know what, this isn't classy, it's not a nice thing to do, our Christmas traditions, children love them, families get together, gifts are exchanged, it's a season of generosity and goodwill toward men. It almost seems sadistic that you would try to hammer down something like that.
Isn't that so sad? When I work with families in which one member of the family unit is atheist and the rest are not, they have this relationship dynamic exactly in which you are describing that's happening with the media and with others who are not atheist. And it is very upsetting in a family unit when you have one person shouting loudly in their nasty way about how everybody else in the family should be believing what they're believing.
Okay, that's all I can think of this moment. Isn't that what a lot of Christian families do to their atheist family members?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, is that every single thing she's saying that atheists are doing are things that Christians do.
Right. I mean, basically, my parents did that. It's like, our house, you have to believe what we believe. It didn't destroy our family per se, but these are things that people do. This is not an atheist problem. Obnoxious people of all faiths and political positions, because I think I run into this more with politics than anything else, are obnoxious. And that has nothing to do with whether you're an atheist or a Christian. It has to do with whether you're obnoxious. That being said, everyone in my family should stop believing in God, because demonstrably it's the superior position.
Well, I think it's funny. It's like O'Reilly at the beginning looked up his name and all this stuff, and it's like the billboard wants to continue doing those things, just not the church thing. Like they still want the presents, still want to get together with the family, they still want to get under the tree, and
they want to get under the tree and what? Is this the Christmas party we were talking about?
They want their food, they want all the rest of that, but they just don't want the church part.
Right.
Like, they still want Christmas and goodwill towards men.
Yeah, and at some point during the interview, she says, I think I just cut her off from saying this. I am Bill O'Reilly. I'm channeling him. Cut off her mic. But she says, people like Christmas, and how are you gonna not go to church because Christmas is about
it's
Jesus.
intertwined, and
yeah,
they're so together you can't separate them.
Yeah, no. Christmas is a secular holiday, and it's also a religious holiday. The two can be completely separate. They are in my house. We celebrate Christmas in my house.
I celebrate Christmas, and I do not bring Jesus into it whatsoever.
We don't think about Jesus for a minute in my house. It's mostly about presents.
I love presents.
We don't even think about Santa Claus. It's just about a family day and
shiny lights.
Well, not for me, because I have a cat this year, and
you should totally do that.
Oh yeah, it was a disaster. The cat destroyed the tree, and all the ornaments in the tree, and then today or yesterday, my wife took all the ornaments off, and she put these little braids around it, and then she's putting lights on there. I'm like, are you crazy? You're gonna electrocute the cat?
Zap.
And she's like, no, it'll be fine. Like 30 seconds after she finished, she turned them on, and the cat's in there chewing on the wires. I'm like,
it's a low voltage. It'll just give it a little jump.
Really? It'll be okay?
It's natural
Sure.
selection.
It'll just be a punk rock cat from now on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about this. What about my laptop cable? Because he likes to chew on that too.
Murphy survived.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I know Christmas lights, they're the dual channel or whatever it's called. So if you cut it in one, the whole thing goes off. So you don't have to worry about continually getting extra.
It should just be a nice surprise.
Yeah, just like a half second. But whoa, that was a thing.
Okay. So are we all is everyone saying there's no actual war on Christmas?
Yes.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, the chat room agrees with you.
Yeah.
Jacob Gossip 5 notes that this woman is so agnostic.
She's super duper.
Yeah. I think that's what really bugged me the most about this whole thing was they don't even really have somebody who is a part of American Atheists. Mm-hmm. They're able to represent themselves. They just have the pre-recorded message from Danielle Moscato, and that's it. And it's like, come on, at least give us a fair try to get shouted down by Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah. Well, no, he tried that once, and then he what was it for? This one kid came on there arguing something with him, and the kid was doing a good job even with Bill O'Reilly shutting him down. And then afterwards, he would take clips of what that kid said and would use them out of context. And it's like, I wouldn't even want to go on that show knowing that's exactly what he's going to do with my words later on.
Fair enough. Do we have any events, Susan, at all to talk about? No, we don't.
I thought of something earlier and I can't. We're the Foundation Beyond Belief for this month. We're the team of the month, Corpus Christi Atheists, for our team of the month. I don't know what the fuck it is.
And
you know more about it.
Susan can't talk now.
No.
Those were all the right words, just not in the proper order.
Okay. Can you correct them for me, please?
Corpus Christi Atheist was named Volunteer Team of the Month for December by the Foundation Beyond Belief, which, woo!
Yay! Woo.
Big deal. We rock. I mean, because we're a pretty small town.
Yeah, there was a really good-looking picture of a guy in orange shirt and sunglasses out there.
The top picture was the one that I took, actually.
I was going to say that's the only one I didn't take. So, like, I'm in none of the pictures because you took the one picture because I was laid up with a bum foot. And I'm not in any of the other pictures because I took all of them. But good work to all of our Corpus Christi people. And hopefully we'll have time to do something before the end of the year. But, man, we've been busy this year. Mm-hmm. And it was nice to be recognized. So, congratulations, people.
Well, yeah, we haven't done anything this month, though. I guess we'll just hope that January will be another big month.
The tree thing in January.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the
10th.
Tree recycling. Yeah.
On the 10th.
Okay, we'll do Okay. Hey, so January 10th, we're going to be doing Christmas tree recycling.
It's super fun.
Where is it?
One of the Walmarts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Amanda had a lot of the information on it. Yeah.
Last year it was at the Walmart that's at Cimarron in Saratoga.
Yeah, she tried
and it was on my
meetup,
birthday.
but she couldn't for some reason.
She can suggest it, but enough people have to RSVP first
Well,
co-organizer.
As soon as anyone puts anything up on Meetup, I just promote it. So, I mean, put something. If anyone in the Corpus Christi area, or if you want to troll us and, if you're outside of the Corpus Christi area and you want to go promote, tell us all to go to one of your events, I'll promote it. What the hell? Maybe someone will go. Maybe we can get the mayor of Piedmont to invite us to his next Christmas parade.
It sounds like fun.
Okay. I'm going to move ahead and maybe jump around a little bit. We've only got about, 10 minutes left. Atheists have challenged the nativity scene at a county courthouse in Mountain Home, Arkansas, saying, obviously, that its presence violates the Establishment Clause. Ooh, I'm going to be a comic book villain, and my name is going to be Establishment Claw. Oh, someone make that happen. Someone has to be able to do that, right? Okay. The presence of the nativity scene in Arkansas violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment to the Constitution. The county has also denied permission for locals to add messages like Happy Winter Solstice to the courthouse, which, in addition to the nativity, also has some Santa Clauses and some secular things. I got to sneeze for a second or something. This is the worst. All I had to do was talk about it when it went away. So this week, officials decided that instead of relenting to legal threats from atheists, they would try a creative solution. They've added a disclaimer to the display. The disclaimer reads, during the holiday season, the county of Baxter salutes liberty, America. Let these festive lights and times remind us that we are keepers of the flame of libertà and our legacy of freedom. Whatever your religion or beliefs, enjoy the holidays. This display is owned and erected by private citizens of Baxter County. County Judge Mickey Pendergrass, whose name I am not making up, says unofficially and not from the bench that he thinks it is now constitutional, but he also says he thinks it was constitutional before the disclaimer was added. Thoughts?
It just seems like they should just let him put up the banner. I mean, who cares? I mean, like, what's so demeaning about Happy Winter Solstice? A little banner next to your Jesus thing.
Well, because they want the Jesus thing.
They only want the Jesus thing.
And I think that's the problem, is that if you let private citizens erect a nativity scene, you cannot then turn to atheists or Satanists or Pastafarians and say, no, you're not allowed. We're only going to let Christian private citizens put stuff up.
Because it still seems like a showing preference, because they allow them to put it on government property.
Yep.
Even though they didn't use any government employees to erect it or put any money into actual buying anything, it still shows preference if they say some citizens can erect something and other citizens can't.
Right. Clearly, that's a violation of the Establishment Clause, as far as I can tell.
But I don't really know anything about this little disclaimer thing that they can put on there. It just, I usually try to see like some logic in these court, but I can't think of any reason why that would.
Okay, so let me tell you, because I spent a lot of time. Everybody on the county council, when they were talking to the press, was saying there's a 1994 Supreme Court ruling that says if you put a disclaimer on there, that then it's constitutional. And none of them referenced the case or gave any details about it. There was no way to find it, and I spent literally over an hour trying to figure out what the heck they're talking about, and I think I finally found it. Nose break for a second. Okay, so literally all I had to go on was that there was a 1994 Supreme Court case, and it had to do with nativity scenes and disclaimers, and you would be surprised at how little information there is out there. It was not even really a decision that the Supreme Court made, which is why you can't find anything even on Wikipedia about it. So it seems to be a case, and I don't know how to spell this person's name, but it's Creatore. I'm just going to call him Creature. It's probably Creatore or Creator or something. This individual and the Knights of Columbus in 1993 went to the town of Trumbull. So it's Creature versus Trumbull.
Sound like the characters in a Harry Potter book.
Right? So they had traditionally had at their county courthouse a Christmas tree and a menorah. And this guy Creature and the Knights of Columbus said, hey, how about we have this garage sale thing and we have all kinds of things and you put up a nativity scene too. So first of all, I want to just note, Christians came up with this garage sale thing first, and the Satanic Temple is just copying them. So if you have a problem with what the Satanic Temple is doing, blame the Knights of Columbus. It was their idea. So the town said no because you didn't fill out the forms properly, so you can't have your nativity scene. And so then the next year they came back and said, we filled out the forms properly, and they said, okay. And then they said, no, because there's a First Amendment, you guys. So menorah is okay for some reason, but this nativity scene just won't be okay. So 2 days later, Creature and the Knights of Columbus sued, and they lost. And they appealed, and they lost. And they appealed again, and they lost. And it ended up at the Supreme Court where Scalia was the one who announced the decision. Now, they didn't really decide anything. All they said is that it should go back down to the lower court, and they instructed them to revisit the issue in light of a recent ruling that they had made in favor of the Ku Klux Klan. So the next thing I just want to say is all of these people on the board are citing the Ku Klux Klan as their support for having their nativity scene on the courthouse lawn. So
Wow.
This is the part that I'm confused about, and maybe we can have our local lawyer guy, Jeff Grime, on the show next week to do a better job of understanding this.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Oh, Petey, if you were just Jeff. But it seemed like there was no majority consensus on the court about what it was. Everyone wrote an opinion, and none of it was binding, and it's all very confusing. What it seems like they're zeroing in on is that Justice Souter wrote that it would be possible for the Ku Klux Klan to erect this cross that they wanted to put on county property if one of two things happened. One, if there was a disclaimer saying it was completely private and owned by private citizens, maintained, donated by private citizens, that maybe that would make it constitutional, and that seems to be what they're hanging their hoods on. I mean, their hats.
I see what you did there.
Ha ha.
So cute.
So I guess hopefully the American Humanist Association will have a response to that, and the Epic Nanny Legal Center will.
What form does this disclaimer come? Is it just like a little asterisk at the end of the nativity? And then it's like, yeah, just go look it up somewhere. I mean,
It's a footnote. Citation needed.
We would put the asterisk on a nativity scene. What do you want?
Yeah.
Could be. That's just a really, really weird case. It would really suck if that actually got, because I'm with you, Reb, that I don't care if it's erected by private citizens and maintained by them. If they're saying no to everybody else, that's showing preferential treatment to a religion.
So
and
enshrining one religion above all others.
Yeah, that can't be okay, right? They're defining God in the chat room as the source of all creation.
Well, no, because it's Majesty guy came in there. He's like, oh, so y'all don't believe in God, right? And then there was like, no, we don't. It's too bad. And then they're just like, oh, energy. Is that what you want to call it instead of, I don't know, it's fucking bullshit. I don't know.
There's no reason to think that there's no evidence for that. That's all I would say. And there's no reason to think that there might be. Okay, let's hit one more story before we go, just for funsies. Let's talk about this hypnosis thief real quick. So a man who is now being called the hypnotist thief is on camera robbing the owner of a liquor store, apparently using hypnosis. The alleged criminal walked into the shop and tapped the owner, and then a while later he made this woo-woo magic sign at his face that appeared to make the shopkeeper go into some sort of trance, and then the guy reached into his pocket and grabbed his wallet. And I don't mean that he pickpocketed him. He straight up stuck his hand in his pocket and was like, playing a little pocket pool, searching around, seeing what's
what
up.
I can find.
Yeah. And then took his wallet out, and then he walks back out. Detective Sergeant Dave Bullock said of the crime, the victim remained motionless and unable to stop the robbery taking place. He said that he was momentarily unaware of what had happened to him. What did everyone think of this news story?
I've never been hypnotized and never known anybody who's been hypnotized. And what I saw was that hypnosis is actually just an intricate way of distracting somebody.
He didn't seem distracted.
I was like, I tried looking up statistics about hypnosis and its effectiveness, and all I could find was like smoking cessation kind of stuff. And it was like 94% of people that tried hypnosis were able to kick their habit or whatever. It's like, I don't know. That's the only kind of stuff I could find on it. So when I was in college, there was like, these weird little workshops, and the guy was like, oh, I'm going to hypnotize somebody and whatever. And like, it didn't work. Like, oh, you're just not open to it. It's like, or it's bullshit.
It's your fault you didn't do that.
Yeah.
I feel like if a guy who needs to knock over liquor stores can develop the skills to hypnotize someone to the point where he can go through their pockets and take their wallets, then this would be happening every day. Mm-hmm. Guys would just be going to the bank and going, tap, woo woo, empty the vault, man. This would be happening all the time.
If it's that good with just like that, it's like, why is some clerk at a little frumpy, corner store? How much money could that guy have had on him in the first place?
I don't know. This is so to me, the more plausible conclusion is this guy was in on it and they're just trying to get attention or something like that.
Can you take out insurance on your stolen wallet or something? Or
probably.
I don't even know what he stands to gain besides attention.
Attention. People do all like this.
But if he gets caught, he's going to jail. So waste of police resources on
how are they ever going to find
crime.
that out? How are they ever going to? As long as neither of them ever say acknowledge it, how are they ever going to find it?
But still, if they catch the guy, he either goes to jail for using hypnosis to steal from somebody.
That's true.
Or he goes to jail for deceiving the cops into thinking there was a crime that took place. Either way, if he gets attention, where they know who he is, he's going to jail.
It is a stupid plan, but people do stupid things. I'm not going to lie.
Which I guess gives it more credence that they're probably just a spoof, because if they were stupid enough to think like they're going to gain something out of this, then, well, they're not. So
well, they've got attention, and we're talking about them. They're
unless, because there were these other hypnosis, maybe they paid these people to pretend like that happened, so they'd be like, yeah, hypnosis is totally real. Let me give you a workshop about it and pay me money. I can teach you about it. Maybe it's like a third party that's profiting off of this. Follow the money.
Could be. I say we go to post show and we talk a little bit about what His Imperial Majesty and Luna 188 are saying in the chat room about.
You should totally open the Skype line.
We should open the Skype line, and if you don't have to, but if you guys would like to call in and talk to us about your beliefs and why you think we're limiting our what did he say to me?
Our point of view, because we're not dumb or something.
So your beliefs limit your perception.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Okay, if you want to call in and explain what that means, please do. Thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves, sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheists, Team of the Month with Foundation Beyond Belief. Woo. and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. If you would like to compliment, complain, or make a suggestion, please write to us at god@atheistairwaves.com. Thanks to Tombstone to Dead Man for our outro music, and please donate to us at patreon.com/atheistairwaves. Jay hasn't done his little G-string dance in a couple of weeks, so someone get him dancing. We'll see you next week. Ooh, I totally cut you off.
Cut it off. Every single week I do this.
I know, and I cut you off. You want to do it again?
Bye.
Don't die.
Being a skeptic means so much more than being an atheist. And until you accept that, you won't relate to this. That cognitive dissonance that you experience is when there's things you claim to believe in but ain't living it. Most of you say you are the type to question everything until I hear the conspiracy theories that you echoing. And when I scrutinize things you try to say are lies, expose your sources and suspect, I see your logic dies. Some still believe in pseudosciences, engage in special pleading when theists use the exact same reasoning. I've even seen atheists use arguments from ignorance and see my to tell me exactly just what the difference is. A skeptic without the ability to analyze is just as bad as the theist, cause he'll probably accept a lie. Just as long as it verifies all his biases, applying it to his knowledge pool, and then he's diving in. So I'm not saying that some conspiracies do not exist. I'm just saying that a lot of them are some bullshit. So I'ma call a spade no matter who asserts it. Nobody's perfect, and just one lie, then it's all perverted. Bring down the curtains on that sad display. The only way is to question yourself and all the things you say. Start the day, and maybe we can rise above and be examples for others to emulate, and that's the way we win this battle. So this is where I'm making my stand, and now regardless who don't like it or how they get mad, see why the rest of y'all capitulate and go with the plan. I'll be beating on this wall until I'm breaking my hand. So listen while I state official policy. No matter how I'm threatened with hell, then never silence me. I know that you don't see this as imperative, but I refuse to lose and let the stupid frame the narrative.